date?
What do you want to know?
Marchment.
Marchment in, Delandry in, Hins in. Anyone else? No.
What's the I guess routine like for you guys when you do have an earlier start day? Is it something that again you let the players do they come out for a morning skate at all or anything?
Yeah.
Or do you just kind of
Well, 4 o'clock game you can't really. It's just not realistic, especially with the travel we've been doing. So we skated yesterday before we flew. Just had meetings at the hotel this morning. I think, probably the cutoff line. We've had some 6 o'clock games on the road where we have morning skated. That's probably about as early as you can go and get on the ice in the morning, realistically. But honestly, you get to game this late in the series, second round in, this is our 13th playoff game or 12th playoff game. You don't need to be skating much.
Dave just talked about the importance of depth for their team and everything like that. And then he also mentioned how even though you guys have star talent and have a lot of depth as well, how important have the Dadonovs, Foxes, and those guys kind of been to where you've been, not just this series, but the whole playoff run?
Yeah, you're not in this grouping of teams. What is there, 5 left, 6 left? Unless you have depth. And that's just real. That's why at the deadline everyone goes out and tries to add players, because they know, it's one, a war of attrition with injuries and suspensions and things, but it's also just a grind, and you need contributions from throughout your lineup. You need different people every night stepping up. Everyone talked about the Hins line the other night, but the biggest goal of the night for me was Ben Johnson and Dadonov's goal to start the game. So, I think everybody's looking for that. Everyone's relying on that, and usually whoever gets the best of it wins the series.
What's the balance of imposing your game on another team versus also matching whatever they put out there and making sure that you're kind of going like that?
Well, I think we all want to impose our game. The reality is everybody left here has a really good game, and you're not imposing it on them for 60 minutes. It's just not happening. It's not a mid-November game where you can walk out and, just do that. You've got to survive the stretches where they're pushing, making a push, and you've got to try and extend the stretches you're making a push as long as you can. So, I think that was the story last game. We had a push early. They had a big push after that when we got the lead. We managed it, survived it, got some saves, did some things, and found a way to win. Got better in the third.
We're a little more than an hour before face-off, right?
Yeah.
Just wonder what it's like for you personally. Like, you've been on the cusp of the conference final multiple times in your career. Are you calmer now than you used to be? Are you still nervous?
Yeah.
What's it like?
You know what? It's funny. I was telling my coaches a story. My first long playoff run, New Jersey Stanley Cup final. We're in LA. I had Adam Oates and Larry Robinson on my coaching staff, and I remember we were going into Game 6 in LA. So elimination game, biggest game of my coaching career, and we had a meeting and. No one could find Larry. Everyone was, "Where's Larry? Where's Larry?" Larry was out. They had some pregame entertainment. That was rehearsing out on the ice, and he was sitting on the bench watching it. And when you have 10 rings, I think you can have that type of attitude that you're just going to relax and go with the flow. But you learn something from that, And I think what I learned from Larry was, you can twist yourself in knots. During those moments and the lead up to the game and all those things. But at the end of the day, you've prepared your team. They're ready. You really hand them the keys at these points, and they have to take it and go. And so that was probably a great learning moment for me as a coach. Yeah. Well, I mean, it just in your demeanor, your presentation, your reaction to things. I think they feed off what you're feeding off, and so I think you just try and make sure that you're messaging the right way.
How close is Jake to playing to his potential?
Jake? Well, Jake's been great. I think. The great thing about Jake, I saw a stat today, his numbers as series go on, just get better and better, and game 4, 5, 6, 7, he recognizes the dagger type moments in series where, it's important that your best players raise their level, and he has that ability. He gets it. And, I think he's been great all series, potential. We're winning. He's a huge part of it. I think he's playing exactly to his potential.